Donald Trump has said that he's glad that Robert Mueller is dead. Robert Mueller being the guy who was investigating Trump and his ties with Russia, even though nothing was found in the Mueller investigation to lead to a criminal prosecution. Mueller still had connection with Russia and Trump, and he established that. Yet Trump looked at Mueller and said like, "Oh, this guy sucks, fuck him," and called it a witch hunt, and really just didn't like the guy. So when he dies, Trump is now glad. He's saying that his death is a good thing. He's proud of this, and this is from the same group of people who mourn people like Charlie Kirk, understandably, and I think rightfully so. We shouldn't be happy when someone dies, but don't sit here at the same time and say, oh, his death is good, or again, from the same fucking guy who ignored Melissa Hartman, a politician who was killed by a radical Trump supporter. Don't pretend like you give a shit about one and then ignore the other because they just don't politically align to you. When he talked about that director, Rob Reiner, who was killed, it was like making fun of him because Reiner was a big critic of Trump. When you have people in Trump's world who just make fun of people relentlessly, and then you also have him blaming the left for Charlie Kirk's death, even though there was no connection there, and even before we even knew anything, he was blaming the left, and they're turning up the heat. You have he himself, the president, the leader of our free world, who I believe has more influence on violence in our world. He is the one spearheading this violence. He is the one bombing countries. That is more important than I think, and it reminds me of like the 2000s of when an Eminem song dropped and people blamed the shootings on him rather than maybe our lack of gun control or the violence from our president himself. Like, I feel like he is a pinnacle of this where he's super happy about whoever fails and falls who are against him. But when it's his people, we all have to have this sort of like decorum. Like they'll bring up like a random radical leftist on Twitter, and then when you ask for maybe like who on the left is as violent with their rhetoric, they will give you nothing. They won't say an AOC or a Biden because those people are pretty milquetoast in their responses, even to the point where people critique them and say like, dude, why are you being so nice to him? Like when he was shot at, Biden immediately said that he apologized for some comments that were poorly aged, where he said he had Trump in the crosshairs, even though we all knew what he fucking meant. He always has been this milquetoast sort of like non-violent guy. Even Biden said he would fight Trump, but at the same time Trump was talking shit on him on some mad shit. So it wasn't like out of nowhere. It wasn't like this guy just lives in a fucking vacuum. He was known for making fun of people. So at the very least, when people poke back or fight back, he's trying to paint himself as this like little angel, this little darling, but he's not. He's always been just this piece of shit. And just in recent times, he talked about how right-wing radicalism is good and left-wing radicalism is bad. How is this not a guy that we can just immediately say, fuck him? Like, what are we doing here? Why are we pretending that this is the same? Why are we pretending like none of his rhetoric is not leading to violence? Or at the very least, the downplaying of it is going to lead to more violence. Like, you can maybe make a connection and say that he is downplaying it and allowing right-wing violence to thrive. Maybe you don't want to say he's fully committing to this violence, but you have to admit that there is a downplay that's going to let right-wing violence continue and just go unpunished. I mean, the January 6th pardons were clear-cut awful things we just did as a country, and you can't find anything comparable. Like, did Biden do the same for the BLM protesters? No. Like, the most you can ever find is someone say, well, one time Kamala tweeted a tweet in support. That's different from pardoning the fucking violent people who protest. Like, that's why these people just, they don't care. It's whatever, whenever it's their people, they're going to be sad, and we can be as nice as possible, but there's no turning down the heat on our side because people like him really control the world and really control the violence, and they are happy when violence is on their side. So fuck him. He doesn't care.